Potent Pondering, I'm back with another video. Come in, thumbs up this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, hit all notifications so you have my videos in your possession each and every time I go live or I do upload. Shout out to all of y'all. Please make sure that you support this channel. The Cash App is in the description of the video. Yo, I wanted to come and talk about this Mariah Carey. So you know, over the weekend, rest in peace, Mariah Carey lost her mother and her sister, and she had strained relationships with both of them, right? So today, you know, I was doing my own little research yesterday when I found out that her sister lived in Coxsackie, New York. You know, I'm from Albany, New York. So Coxsackie is literally right down the highway. Everybody who goes to prison, you know, do them little short bids, they go to Greene County Correctional Facility. So she lived in that same city. So I'm thinking like, damn, her sister lived there. I'm thinking like, you know, I didn't know the extent of their estranged relationship because, you know, I like Mariah Carey. She's a dope singer, but I wasn't all in. I didn't read her memoir. So I didn't know like a lot of the details that she exposed about her sister, like, you know, the lawsuit that her sister seeked after Mariah for, you know, exposed her in the book. It's just a lot, right? So anyway, there was some news that broke. Well, when the news initially broke that, you know, she had a strained relationship with her mother and her sister. Then today the news broke. Somebody, one of her sister Alison, her friend spoke exclusively to Page 6 and said that Mariah Carey knew that Alison was on hospice and she did not reach out to her, didn't FaceTime her, didn't call her, FaceTime, call her or anything, and she knew that she was in hospice. Whoa. So let me read this to you. Damn. So Mariah Carey was told estranged sister Alison was dying a month ago, but never reached out. All right. So Mariah Carey reportedly never reached out to her late sister, Alison Carey, despite having prior knowledge that she was dying. And we're going to get into, you know, what Mariah alleged in her book as well. Alison's close friend, David Baker, he's the one who exposed it, claimed to the Sun, to the U.S. Sun, that the Don't Forget About Us singer never tried to contact her older sister during their estrangement, not even to check on Alison when she was put in hospice care weeks ago. A phone call, better still, a video call would have meant so much to Alison, but it never came, Baker told the outlet. So he spoke to the Sun. I'm reading this through the New York Post. Page 6, right? So according to Baker, the elder sister was unhappy that Mariah cut off contact with her and chose to keep her distance. So the callous rejection added more hurt to Alison's pain, he said. She talked about it frequently. She wondered if Mariah or any of the family relatives would come to her funeral. The insider added, I am told that a memorial service is being planned for a future date, but nothing now. Reps for the Grammy winner did not immediately respond to Page 6 request for comment. That's crazy. Now listen, if one thing I know sibling rivalry is real, baby, I got my own situation going on. It's a little storm in my life too. I got my own situation going on. So I know that sibling rivalries can be real, but let me tell you something. I might be at a point where I'm kind of I'm more disappointed by one of my brothers, and I feel like, you know, I don't have nothing to say to him in it now, but if he needed me, I would be there for him, you know, as much as it would probably pain me that I'm upset with him, right? So anyway, let's continue on. On Monday, Mariah confirmed the deaths of her sister and her mother, Patricia Carey, who tragically died on the same day over the weekend. I've lost my mother this past weekend, sadly, in a tragic turn of events. My sister lost her life on the same day. The emotions hit Maker 55 said in the statement to People. So Mariah is 55 years old. Her sister is 63 when she passed. I feel blessed that I was able to spend the last week with my mom before she passed. I appreciate everyone's love and support and respect my privacy during the impossible time. Yeah, so Mariah was estranged from her sister and brother, Morgan Carey, when she released her 2020 memoir. So this is where it heats up. The Meaning of Mariah, which prompted her siblings, so they both sued her for defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. According to the court documents related to the suit, Alison struggled with alcohol addiction in addition to other health issues. And, you know, rest in peace to Alison. I'm not saying this in a like exposed type of way, but I watched the interview that she did years ago in the 90s when she was speaking about Mariah Carey. And she talked about how she had she was positive for HIV. You know, Mariah Carey's sister she went through a lot. And you never know what truly have broken this woman's heart from the beginning. You know, Mariah Carey's mom kept her and her brother, and Alison was shipped off to live with her dad. Alison was forced to identify as mulatto, half, you know, black and white. Mariah Carey's mother, Patricia, stated that Mariah was going to identify as Irish and white, or Irish and Italian, or whatever it was, right? So it was like she was the black sheep of the family. So who knows what other type of trauma that she's been through. But I just felt like that was interesting. She exposed that. Listen, I'm going to drop that interview that Mariah Carey's sister did in the 90s. I'm going to put it in the comments or in the description. Just click around this video. You'll find it. I'm most likely going to put it in the comments, right? So she struggled. So yeah, Mariah Carey's sister, she had, unfortunately, due to whatever type of street life she was living, she had, you know, caught HIV. Excuse me. So excuse me. So after a 2015 home invasion, she suffered a traumatic brain injury as well as a vision and short-term memory problems. She also battled spine and digestive disorders. So that, listen, that just broke my heart, because let me just tell you something. We all go through things. Like, even though it's like Mariah Carey, with me, we all have sibling rivalry or whatever the case may be. Mariah Carey even was into it with her. She was even into it with her mom. Like, you know, that they, I guess, you know, she spent the last days with her. But, you know, based on what I read from like the excerpts from her book or doing interviews, she stated that that it was like some jealousy between her and her mom. Just a lot of toxic, negative feelings and emotions that you would not want to share between, like, you know, a parent. But here's her sister. You know, she was in a home invasion. Somebody came in her sister's home, beat her with a bat in her head, just completely caused brain damage to her sister. And I'm just thinking, like, yo, let me just tell you this, right? I'm not Mariah Carey. I know that the people say that you shouldn't speak on people's family and stuff like that. But let me just tell you something. I don't, like, listen, I feel like I have a union with my brothers growing up, right? Even if I'm not speaking with them, Mariah Carey is worth over $300 million. So it's like, she got the money. You understand what I'm saying? She got the money, in my opinion. But listen, this is where they say that things took a turn. So they said Mariah alleged in her memoir that Alison struggled with drug abuse and pushed drugs on her when she was a child. My sister drugged me with Valium, offered me a pinky nail full of cocaine, inflicted me with third-degree burns, and tried to sell me to a pimp. So this is what Mariah is alleging in her 2020 memoir about her sister Alison. And you know, Alison, so 55, so Alison was 8 years older than her. And you know, one thing that I did get from the interview that Alison did with the press, you know, Alison was upset that even in the press they asked her, you know, the person asked her, were you jealous of Mariah Carey? And she said yes, she was jealous. She said, of course. And she was very honest. You know, Alison's issues were that she was struggling with drug addiction and everything that she had been through. Mariah Carey paid for her to be in rehab, and she didn't like how Mariah threw it in her face. She said she threw it in her face all the time. So at that point, she didn't want to take any more money from her. And you know, back then, Mariah was dealing with Tommy Mottola. So who knows how much money she really had. That was early in her career. Who knows what type of information he was, like, you know, preventing her from helping or whatever. But I just feel like it's an unfortunate situation, especially, like, you know, I can't speak from Mariah's stature because, you know, she has money on a whole different level. But I just know that even with me now, I be wanting to do things to kind of like help and save my, you know, help out my family as much as possible. You know, I'm not shifting the blame on Mariah Carey, but it was just eye-opening that the friend came out and said that, you know, Mariah didn't even reach out to her during, you know, the last days. Like, that's, listen, I have a brother that's sickly right now. Even when I was in New York going to see him, it hurt me so bad to even see him like that. And it hurt. And it's like something that's like I didn't want to see. But that's my brother. You understand what I'm saying? I know that Mariah Carey said that she tried to sell her to PIMPs and she tried to, you know, drug her and stuff like that. But it's just like, you know, with everything going on, it's like, you know, I was reading an article that I'm actually going to read to y'all now with Mariah, where she was talking about, you know, everything that she had been through with Tony Mottola, where she actually spoke about her family, her sister, and Tony Mottola on her album Rainbow. And she still had all this love for Tony. So it's just like, I know that you know your sister was sick. You paid for her rehabilitation. She exposed that. Her sister said she did not appreciate Mariah Carey dedicating one of her albums to her because it was just like a smack in the face, and, you know, paying for her rehab services when she was on drugs. And then, you know, I guess Mariah was a part of the plan to take her son away from her. So what happened was, she said her mother had came to get her son one week, and it was like, it was normal. But Mariah Carey, I guess they orchestrated a plot to get her son away from her, so that, you know, I guess so that she could heal. But she didn't appreciate that. She felt lied to, and she felt like they stole her son away from her. So, you know, Mariah Carey, she had the money. She probably was helping the mom back then to get the son. And, you know, I can't say rightfully so, because, you know, a child deserves to grow up in a safe environment. And I'm pretty sure if Mariah felt like her daughter, if her sister was trying to sell her to PIMPs, who knows what happened to the nephew. So anyway, I want to read this to you from this is actually from Reddit, because I was searching about like information about Mariah Carey's song Petals. It was a song that she wrote to her family and to Tony Mottola. So let me just read this. So somebody said, for today's throwback, I wanted to talk about a hidden gem of a song by Mariah Carey, and I think is one of her most honest pop songs. This is nestled in the middle of the Rainbow album, in between a bunch of songs that are mainly about love and heartbreak and relationships. However, this song is kind of different. This song is not only deals with past lover, but it also close relatives and friends of hers, as well as herself. This song opens up with the sound of thunder and rain, already making the song sound raw, real, and natural. It is a simple piano song, the most part, but there is also a bit of dramatic production added as well. I think Jermaine Dupri produces. I listened to it earlier. So yeah. So which makes the song sound even better, in my opinion. As for the vocals, don't expect a song like Make It Happen or Emotions, where she is showing off her vocal capabilities through the song. Her voice is softer in the song, and when she is singing, she sounds more vulnerable and emotional than any other song of hers. Her background vocals make the song sound a bit more heavenly and blissful, and the whistle in the background at the end sounds beautiful. So let's get into, you know, the crux of it. So what I really wanted to talk about is the lyrics, because this song is by far one of the most honest I've ever heard by Mariah. She starts off by talking about how she was always sought stability, and wonders if there's ever been if she's ever had a perfect family. This is referencing her parents' divorce, and when she was very young, how her family has been separated since she was a little kid. Mariah and her brother lived with her mom. Her sister lived with the father. Her sister didn't like that either. She was forced to live with the dad, and she was forced to identify as mulatto. You know what I'm saying? So Mariah, so the sister lived with the dad. She then talks about how a flower, her sister Alison, was a drug addict and prostitute at one point, changed and started flailing in the wind. She then says that she misses the dandelion and even loves her. However, she wishes that there was a way to trust her sister, and how it hurts to touch her. So I'm assuming that this goes through, you know, with all of the pain that she's been through with a child, like whatever. That's unfortunate. I don't know what it's like to have a sibling try to ply me or do anything with me with drugs and then try to sell me off. So I can't get in Mariah's shoes and say how she feels. I can't. So that was in regards to her sister. Now comes the part where she talks about her first husband, Tommy Mottola. She calls him a patriarch, implying that he was an older male figure rather than a real lover. Calling him a patriarch, saying that he was an older male figure rather than a real lover. It says that she was resigned to spend her life within a maze of misery. She was able to bond with his children from a prior marriage, even going as far as to call them little sis and little brother. She then admits that she stayed so long, but she fled to save her sanity, referring to the escaping from Tommy Mottola. These two verses show how much she cared about those two children, who she befriended, but ultimately, for her own sanity and well-being, it was important, you know, for her to leave. This is the part where she starts to get a little darker. She states that so many I consider closest to me turned on a dime and sold sold me out dutifully. She also says, although that knife was chipping away at me, they turned their eyes away and went home to sleep. This verse explains how Mariah decided to do what she wanted because people she was close to decided to sell her out and ignored her even when she was at her lowest, which wasn't even the point in her life yet. All right. So this next part of the song talks about Tommy Mottola again admitting that Mariah has lost a lot of life, but I'll recover. This is referring to Mottola controlling her whole career and giving her having a grasp over her entire life for the years that most people grow dramatically and explore life. This next part is directed towards Mottola specifically, almost like a message. Though I know you really like to see me suffer, I still wish that you and I forgive each other, because I miss you, Valentine. I really miss you. Mariah is claiming that her ex would like to see her not do well in life, but she still has strong feelings for him and really did love him. She even calls him by his former production name, Valentine. I guess that's what they call Mottola. And you see in this paragraph, I don't know what Tommy, the extent of whatever abuse or whatever he put Mariah through, but you see how she's very forgiving to her brother, acknowledging the fact and paying for her sister to go through rehabilitation, but very still loving to Tommy Mottola. Let's move on. The final part of the song, Mariah saying that I try so hard, but you drove me away to preserve my sanity. She wanted to stay in a relationship and love him, but his excessive control and stranglehold over her life caused her to split from him, so she wouldn't go crazy and live a terrible life. The outro is kind of a symbolic theme of petals flying away from the original home flower. Mariah sings, and I found the strength to break away and finally flies. While some people flying away from their flower, an example, Alison, got into bigger problems, Mariah flew away from the flower and is now in a much better space. This song and this album in general seems to be seeing Mariah looking back at her youth and prior life and feeling both sorrow for passing it, as well as happiness for being in her current place. She even visited her old high school and junior high school at the homecoming special, where she sang another one of her favorite songs on Rainbow, Can't Take That Away. She walks through her old schools and reflects on the adolescence. In an interview with the high school newspaper, she stated that she had to work her hardest to achieve her freedom to have control over her career. While this era may not have been a career-defining one like Katy Perry's teenage dream era, or even her own daydream era, it was certainly a reflective and meaningful one. Overall, I just feel like it is a very beautiful song. The one, Petals. Check that out if you want to check it out. Petals with deep and honest lyrics. So many people say that Mariah Carey is a diva and that her songs have no personal meaning to them. I would advise them to look at her Daydream, Butterfly, and Rainbow records. I think that they would change their minds. Some other good songs that show vulnerability and are very personal to Mariah is Looking In on Daydream, Close My Eyes on Butterfly. My final statement is that you should really listen to Mariah's discography and not cast her aside as an untalented songwriter or once amazing singer who has a severely weakened voice now. Listen to her music and realize just how vulnerable she portrays herself in some of the most hidden songs, and you will definitely look at Mariah differently. So that was in regards to the song Petal, that they said that she was talking about her sister, and it seemed like she was talking a lot about Tommy Mottola. She was dressing her family in it too. Listen, let me just say this. I know that with everything just happening this week, I don't mean to do this video to be disrespectful. It's just all conversation. I seen an article posted today. They were talking about Mariah Carey's sister and saying that Mariah didn't reach out to her. I mean, let me tell you something. Death is so final and it's so painful. I know that Mariah is dealing with that in real time right now. Maybe she's to a point where she doesn't care. Who knows how she really feels? But to me personally, especially, it's all about the resources. You know how many of us, it's just like, you don't got to go bankrupt or anything like that. But it's just like, I don't know, how hard is it? And we don't know anybody's trauma or anything like that, but those things happen, and not to minimize, but those things happened years ago. And like, even in that song right there, she was willing to show love to Tommy Mottola, and it's kind of like she skirted over her sister, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? So listen, again, rest in peace to Alison, rest in peace to her mom, Patricia. Potent Pondering, get in the comments, let me know what you think about Mariah Carey not reaching out and the friend coming out saying that she didn't call, she didn't FaceTime, she didn't do anything, right? Listen, if I had the money I don't care if I'm not speaking to my brothers. If I know they're in a bad predicament, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to send the money. I'm going to do what I got to do. We don't, even if I'm going to make sure that I do that, because listen, that's a crumb off a wafer in regards to like the money that you make. Mariah Carey goes up even just off her Christmas money every year. Like she ain't even got to give all that. And I'm pretty sure it wouldn't even take all that. But your sister was living in Coxsackie, New York. Like, listen, that's like that's the prison town. Like, not saying that that's a bum town or anything like that, but oh man. I don't know. And then just the fact, I'm going to drop that interview in the comments below. Just the fact that her sister said that she didn't even want anything from her anymore. She didn't want no money, because the way that when she went to rehab from dealing with substance abuse, Mariah she threw it in her face all the time, made her know that she paid for it all the time, like, you know. So listen, I know it's three sides to a story: Mariah's side, Alison's side, and the truth, right? But I just feel like if you have the means to help a person, help them. Help them. Even if you're not communicating with them, help them, as long as it's not putting you into the poorhouse. And we know that Mariah Carey is well off and she's good. I wish she would have spoke to her sister, you know, before she left this world. And that, you know, they said that really bothered her. So imagine dealing with HIV, and imagine dealing with somebody breaking into your home and beating them upside their head. And who knows if they even did that in the name of Mariah Carey, thinking that they was probably going to find something, rob her, and get some. You never know what this is really all about. So listen, potent, pondering, never pandering. I'm about to get up out of here. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think about this whole ordeal, and I'm up out of here. Peace.